Alright guys, this is going to be a pretty quick video. This is just an updated list from the one I did earlier this week. I just got back from Gainesville regional in Georgia. I'll be honest, the day didn't go quite as well as I was hoping. It was a pretty small regional. It was only like 79 people, so only top 8 got invites and pricing and stuff. So pretty much if you got hit 2 losses, you're not going to top. Even some like you know 1 loss guys didn't finish in the top, but I ended up just going X2 and dropping. Had some unfortunate stuff happen, but I'll kind of get into that kind of stuff later. But let me just do the list real quick and walk and explain some changes I made from again earlier this week, and at the end I'll also go through some changes I'm gonna make with this deck, and some other thoughts, that kind of stuff. So, just real quick, we'll go through all the Mitsurugi cards. Of course, 3 Armasa. I changed it from 2 Saji down to 1 Saji. Before I thought for some reason that you should have as many names as possible. I don't know why I thought that. It doesn't really matter. You only need 1 Saji. I don't want to see this guy in my hand. I just want to get him off Hapikiri, or especially with prayers, something like that. So you only need 1 for your combos. So this is just fine. And then you can just keep recycling with Futsu on your opponent's turn or on your turn. So it's totally fine. And then 1 Kusanagi, again, he's necessary for your combos as well. You never need more than that. Now, I've seen some people cut this down to 2, but I think in Pure you should keep it at 3, just so you can keep them in, use them to search for Habakiri or whatever missing piece you need. So yeah, I think these ratios are the best ones. And then for the ritual monsters, of course, 3 Habakiri, best card in the deck, arguably. This card's cracked, it's a combo starter. And then 3 the big guy, Murakamo, and then 1 Futsu. Again, I think these are correct. Some people are just cutting this down to 1. I like having 2, just to, if I'm going second and I know I can OTK, I can get 2 of these guys out just for maximum damage. Not necessary, but sometimes I also like to end with 1 in my hand for Murakama, just so I can ritual my opponent's turn. But you can also do that with Kusanagi. So I mean, there's ways around it if this guy gets taken off or something like that. But and then for the spells, of course, 3 ritual, 3 prayers, Mon Magatama, and then purification and mirror. I think these are all pretty standard. Besides Magatama, some people are even going this card. I really like it for the pop. I think it's really good and pure. I really don't very often use the ritual from hand. Every once in a while, if like the combo is going really weird, like under food, and I really don't want to give my opponent a draw, I'll extend the combo just so I can ritual from my hand again instead of having to go from deck. But mainly I just use it for the pop. It's really good against Malice, to keep them off with the monsters. They can't go on their link plays. So it's really good. Usually this plus purification and like an impulse or an imperm will normally get the job done against Malice, honestly, unless they open like just a ton of extenders or something like that. So and then force the 3 pre-prep. You pretty much just run that with mirror. So all that kind of good stuff is out of here. Oh, goodness gracious. Alright, and then I was running the deer package before. I switched it out for 3 extra. I think these were really good. I like these a lot more than the deer package, honestly. They didn't conflict with impulse or anything like that. There is a little bit of confliction with this card and Gordian Slicer, because they both have to be at the start of your main phase. However, Gordian Slicer is at the start of main phase 1 or 2. This is just main phase 1. So unless your hand's absolutely cracked, just use this guy first. But also this is kind of weird after that point too, because you get rid of your extra deck, and Slicer has less stuff to use. So going second, I just sided these out, especially against Malice, where I had so much stuff I needed to side in. I would just take these out, so there'd be no chance that I'd have that confliction pop up. But other than that, extravs were awesome all day. Usually when I use them, I'd open up most of my impulses or imperms, whatever that case may be. So really good. That was a great change. And of course, 3 impulse. This is arguably like the best hand trap in the game right now. Decks that can use this are just infinitely better. Honestly, that's probably one of the main reasons to play pure Mitsurugi is because you can use this card. It's just so good. It's one of the only few cards that can actually stop Mitsurugi Ritual from hand. And again, there's not many conflictions in this deck at all, really. So, and then 3 Imperm, and then 3 Fua. Not too crazy else. Nothing else there. All right, and then just 2 Slayer, 2 Slicer. Honestly, I'm kind of debating on just doing 3 Slicer and just taking Slayer out. It's just really weird, especially the best deck right now is Malice, so there's not a whole lot of good link targets to send. Like, yeah, you can send the Tri-Brigade guy, which I don't have, of course. Makes sense. I don't have, and you can send Guru and get a free draw, but like, at that point, are they just like, I don't know. I see people do Meltronis. Meltronis is weird. Gordon Slicer, especially for this deck, where this card cannot be negated, the activation or the effect, and you can just bounce like 2 or 3 cards. There's nothing else they're gonna do about it. So it makes them either commit to using their stuff to save their monsters, like their face down traps to banish them and bring them back already, or you're just sending like back their Link 5 and their Firewall Dragon guaranteed. So I might just switch to like 3 of this and take out the Slayers, or leave 1 Slayer in maybe. I don't know, just for like the Raizo matchups. I didn't see any Raizo in my games today though, but I will say the event was full of Malice and Mitsurugi. So like, it was a pretty small event, and so they had us sitting at like tables, like 4-man tables. And my first round was me playing Mitsurugi, and then it was Malice, Malice, and Malice. So pretty crazy. That's one of the big changes I'm definitely gonna make, is just maining Meows, and the changes I'll make are coming up here shortly. So I have the 3 thrusts and the 1 talents, and I have the 2 Ghost Reapers. So these are gone. These are just, don't act like they don't exist. They're awful. And then I kept seeing duplicates of thrusts all day, so I think I'm going to switch it to just 2 thrusts, 1 talents like this, and then just main deck Meows that way. This opens up 3 spots, so it's perfect. I think that's good for like big events. If you're going just to locals and stuff, you can see Meltronis. I don't think, unless your locals is like freakishly competitive, then you can easily fit your Meows in that way. And then you can take your Meows from your side and just put Perulias in instead. So works out perfect like that. But for this event, this is what I was with. These were awful. Didn't see them all day, of course. And one time I did, it was against a rogue deck, and I didn't have any targets for it, so I just sided them out. So these are the guys you got sided anyway. And then again, I just drew duplicates. The round I lost and I dropped. I unfortunately got a game loss for an issue I had on my deck list. Rookie mistake by me. It's my first time ever filling one out. So I got a game 1 loss. So game 1 loss. Game 2, I elected to go first. Won game 2, and then game 3, the guy let me go first. My hand was Thrust, Mitsurugi Ritual, Thrust, Mitsurugi Ritual, Thrust. So that was probably like the worst brick I've ever. And then I just kind of like, he fooled me. I thrusted, set an impulse, and then he just went, he was playing like Dogmatic or something I shouldn't lose to ever. And it's super frustrating. I lost to it, but that's kind of happens when you get a game loss. You kind of lose to a brick at that point. He just went to Deer Servant and sent Intis or Tinnis, whatever it's called, and popped the impulse, and that was kind of like just cooked from there. So, I mean, it is what it is. It is my fault for that, but unfortunate to go out that way, especially when like the only deck I was really scared of in that room was Malice, and this deck can go toe to toe with Malice, honestly, for my testing and that kind of stuff. So, extra deck, I changed quite a bit in here actually. Kind of try to refine it a little bit. Unfortunately, I have to go back and do it again now. So I'm probably going to take out the Reapers and most of the Slayers. So But as for the actual playable cards, it's still just IP, SP. Dynamondo, this card's actually a pretty good tech card for ritual monsters. This does is when you special summon it, you can bounce a card in the field and a ritual, I think it's ritual monster in your graveyard, just bounce it back. And then quick effect, you can tribute this card on your opponent's turn and special summon a ritual monster from your graveyard. So if your board gets clogged or you get drooled, whatever, and you can't play and you have 2 monsters out, you can just go into this guy. That way you can at least bring a big Ame Murakumo back and at least get the Rigeki on your opponent's turn. Just try to play. But there was one instance where this card could have come up today, but me being dumb just didn't do it. But it didn't really matter. But so I think this is a good card, especially like Air Check's not super important, so this is a good tech card to have in here. And then Cowboy, of course, just for Timecon purposes. And then Thrust or alternate player targets through Aggregator Malong. Like crazy there. And then all the Reaper targets I have that I didn't see, of course. Binder, Spirit Dragon, Requiem, Detonator, Neptibus, Guardian Dragon, Crystron, whatever thing's called, and then Creation King for Memento. Some of these are kind of weird, like this card's really good for the Crystron deck because it really stops them from extending. Same thing for this, for Tenpai, they have to like commit all three of their monsters just to the big guy. This stops the protection, obvious, pretty obvious, and then this is just awful. Especially with March Hare now, because you just banish this and they go March Hare, just add it back to their hand or their extra deck, whatever, and they just go into it anyway. So it's just awful. I didn't see Memento, thank God. But so that's the extra deck. And then inside, Impure, I think you can play this guy. I think it's like Usu, or how you pronounce it. I think it's pretty cracked in Pure. I just decided for an going second. The combo of this guy, I say combo, but it's like 2 cards. You add this guy and you have Mirror in your hand. Or I guess you can just need this guy and like one of your ritual monsters in your hand. And then you inherit, just tribute one of the ritual monsters in your hand, and then one opponent card or one monster on your opponent's board, and just plop this guy out. They can't really respond to it, so it's a good way to get rid of those like annoying cards like Firewall Dragon or the Agnister cards, whatever. Just the big bodies you can't get rid of. And then you do the effect of the ritual monster that you tributed to add Mirror, and then Mirror from graveyard, send this guy and plop out the ritual monster you sent for this. So came out quite a few times. I was every time I went second and I saw this. It's really good. So and it's a 2K beater, so I mean, it's pretty good. Big draw for the Mirror. Didn't have a Mirror, thankfully. But the time I decided to send, didn't see it, of course. But I think everyone needs to have Droll at this point, kind of like how everyone needs Lancia. Droll's is really good against mitsurugi. mitsurugi is a very good deck as well. And then 3 Meows, which, like I said before, these will now be in the main. 3 Lancia. Just so you guys can like, kind of laugh at me. This was my deck list error was Lancia. So I got kind of lazy and just wrote Lancia instead of Artifact Lancia. And it turns out I forgot that there's a Synchro monster that has Lancia in it. So they were like, hey, idiot, this isn't right. And so I lost. Not only did I lose my Lancias for the rest of the event, I got a game loss. So even if I would have won the round, I didn't have my Lancias for the rest of the tournament and a room full of Mouse players. So that would have been not a fun time playing against all them without Lancias. So I guess I would have just been playing the event on hard mode. It is what it is. Rookie mistake again. Now I know to not be lazy. And then 2 Chaos Hunters. This card's also really cracked if they're not running Serb anyway. If they're running Serb, they just go into that and pop it. But I'm starting to see like some of them aren't running it now. So maybe you might get lucky, but they still definitely have like ways around this, but it's just really annoying. Same thing with Lancia. They can play around it, but it's just so really, really annoying unless they open the right cards. So that's all the Malice 8. And again, Meows is just good against everything too, in a way. So I think it's just really good to slap it in the main now. And then last card, just for going first, Solemn Strikes. So that's all for that. Thoughts. The deck honestly felt really good. I bricked a lot today. My first loss was to Malice. Went to game 3. He bricked set 1 pass. I bricked by drawing pre-prep and mirror. And like again, 2 copies of Thrust and Impulse, and I top decked Purification, so I couldn't play. My only real losses today were when I bricked, and I really don't think it's like a deck build issue. I think that's just really unlucky. Like drawing 2 rituals and 3 thrusts in my hand, that's just really unfortunate. Same thing with drawing like my 1 of mirror with pre-prep. Just stuff like that. Is what it is. It happens. Plus, I also made a lot of mistakes today with the deck. I think I'm obviously not the best player. I haven't been playing that long. But I still don't know what every deck does or what like crucial choke points are. Obviously, the more I play, I'll get better at it. But I really do think this list is very, very solid, and in the hands of a better player than me, could absolutely just cook and win events all day. So I don't think there's much else you can really do with Pure, to be honest. I mean, you can run like a heavy hand trap variant, but I don't think you need that, honestly. I think the breakers are just the best, especially for how good these boards are. They just push through hand traps anyway. So if I just, they end on their board, I have Slicer, and I just bounce back 3 of their cards, like what are they going to do? They're at least having to blow through 2 of their follow-up interactions to save their board, and then like I'm able just to go at that point. So I kind of already went through the changes I make. Again, take out the Reapers and one of the thrusts, since I kept seeing him all day long. Just take those out and main deck Meows, and then in the side change it to where instead of Meows it's Perulia, just to go in against Raziel or something like that, because Perulia is really good against Mitsurugi Raziel too, since now I can ritual summon like 3 times from my hand in a turn, so pretty solid. But yeah, it's kind of my thoughts. Again, kind of pretty rough day. Kind of disappointed, but it's only my secondary regional, so I can't be too bummed. But yeah, so that's all. Again, pretty quick video. So, so what do you guys think? Also, real quick, thank you guys all for watching my other videos. I got quite a bit more views than what I actually thought I would in the videos, and some good feedback and interactions in the comment section. So thank you guys so much for watching, and again, just let me know what you guys think. See you later. Thanks.